All right, we'll call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Flagler Beach City Commission. Today is Thursday, July 9th. The time is 5:30 p.m. Mayor, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will follow that by a moment of silence to honor our veterans, members of the armed forces, and first responders.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, while everybody's getting settled, if you could take a minute to look at your cell phone, make sure it is on silent, vibrate, or turned off, please. Mayor, do we have any proclamations or awards?
Not this evening.
Ooh. Got it easy tonight. All right, deletions and changes to the agenda. City clerk, anything? City manager? All right, anything up here? All right, in that case, we'll move on to public comment. This is for items that are not on the agenda. Citizens are encouraged to speak. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Please address myself, the chair, and we'll allocate about 30 minutes to this, and no time allotted to another speaker. And by all means, jump on up. Anyone for public comment? If you can, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Kevin Marzak. I live at 105 Oak Street. I'm a county resident of 54 years and a city resident of 47 years. I'm a retired Florida State Park Ranger of Gamble Rogers, Tomoka, and Bulow. And I rise tonight for a promotion into a win-win situation for the city. In my career, I've walked the beaches of Flagler Beach since 1976 with Greenpeace, Ernie Olson. The current Flagler Turtle Patrol was often advised to me by, did I not press it right? Oh, okay, thank you very much. And I finished my career in 2006 as a state sea turtle coordinator. And with your permission, I'd like to approach the chair.
What is it you're wanting to do?
Well, I have copies.
Oh, okay, you can give those to Penny.
All right. Now, my work, of course, was at interpretation. I was a Park Service specialist, one of the first to be anointed by the state for my knowledge of the state workings within the environmental community. I came across this information in a book called Windward Road by Archie Carr, who is considered to be the father of sea turtle research nationwide, and as far as I know, worldwide. Let me explain. This special occurrence occurred in Flagler Beach on June 6th, 1947, when a famous herpetologist by the name of Ross Allen, who had an institute in Ocala, and as well was part of St. Augustine Alligator Farm. Excuse me, it's been a long time since I gave a program. But his work with his team, which occurred on June 6, 47, was the documentation and the recording of the very first leatherback sea turtle nesting in the United States. It's a very historical significance, not only in environmental issues, but I think it would behoove also the city to adopt some kind of acknowledgement for this standing. And let me impress that only Flagler Beach can accept this garnished benevolence because of the work of Mr. Allen. It did not occur anywhere else but here. And so I am come today to offer this to the commission, and in any way, shape, or form that you may want to proceed with it, that perhaps you could adopt the sea turtle, the leatherback, known as Dermoshells coriacea, as perhaps the mascot of the city of Flagler. More importantly, Flagler Beach could take up the role as the home of the leatherback sea turtle. It is a win-win situation for environmental issues, and as I see it, a positive step forward for the city of Flagler Beach for environmental regulation. And if you have any further questions, I'm happy here to give you whatever information I can.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marzak. And while everybody's still reviewing, what we do is at the end of public comment, we'll respond to all this in one shot.
In the main copy of the body of information, there are photographs in the back that specifically show Mr. Ross Allen and his team on the beach in 1947, and they explicitly prove that Flagler Beach is indeed the home of the leatherback.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, anyone else for public comment?
Darrell Reynolds, 322 North 11th Street, Flagler Beach. First, I'd like to ask, could we get a public service announcement for the fact we've increased fines and enforcement for litter? Just get something out so the public knows. I looked at our Facebook. I don't see anything there. I know city website, there's nothing there as well. But if we could get something out, maybe it'd just help a little bit. But if that's first thing I'd like to ask for. Second thing, I'd like to thank Commissioner Sherman for his efforts. This 5th of July, we picked up over 250 pounds of trash, 33 volunteers, so that's about 7 pounds per volunteer. We could have done more, but it was a little bit hot that day, so we all decided we'd give it a break. So the next thing I'd like to request is when we have big weekends like the 4th, Labor Day, all the weekends that we know we're going to have additional visitors, could we put a few more garbage cans out in the areas that we know is going to be heavily trafficked? Because I think the sanitation workers, they spend a lot of time cleaning up the debris, the spillage, everything that was essentially around the cans. And I think in the past years, and I know we got pier construction going on, so it's a little challenging there, but I believe it would have made it a lot easier for our sanitation employees that day. I had one more thing, and I got to. So we would like to put 4 more beach bucket stations out. So we'd like to go ahead and get approval on that. We've already got 2 built. I need to get 2 more built, and the locations are South 28th Street, South 20th Street, South 17th, and North 16th Street. Those are all very heavily trafficked areas because you've got a leaky is at one, you've got high tides at one, you got craves at one, so they're, and the areas there would be easy to install them. So that's all I got for today, but thanks again, Commissioner Sherman. You're a big help on the 5th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Good evening. My name is Kim Carney. I'm a 25-year resident with Flagler Beach. I am currently serving with Flagler County as District 3 Commissioner. I would like to invite you and the public to my town hall meeting on Tuesday the 13th at 5:30 to 7:30, and that's going to be at Rick Line Center. My topics include Beach Reach 2. Right now we'll be doing some hurricane preparedness, and I just want to preface by saying that the beach presentation is in no way designed to be the only communication with the commission, and I highly recommend that this board meet with our board through a joint workshop. Our deadline for Reach 2 response to the winning bidder is August the 6th. We are going to submit a request for them to extend the bid another month. We are drastically behind schedule, and I believe that Commissioner Spradley was there to hear some of the bad news. So I feel the news should be shared with the public. I think you all should hear it, hopefully first, but that won't happen before Tuesday, if you can be there. Penny, if you could notice it, that more than one commissioner may be there. We'll answer any questions that we have available to us, but as a board, again, you can't really talk much about it until you're not voting on it anyway, but it's just an informational piece. The best we can do, we're 17 easements behind schedule. Beverly Beach seawall collapsed, and there's no plan to replace it. No seawall equals no dredging. So we're in a pickle. By no means of our own. We're working diligently at all of the above. The funding came in $4 million over budget. We can work with that, but we have a cash flow problem. So I don't want you to get there Tuesday night if you plan on coming. It's not all doom and gloom, but the best we can do is forge forward, and we'll see what we can do. But I would like to get the information out to the public, and the date I drew was July 14th. So, and again, try to make a workshop with us in the near future, so we can have the presentation to you all, especially if you can't be there on Tuesday. I'd like you to see the presentation. Thank you.
Commissioner Carney, what time did you say that was?
5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else for public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. City manager, were you able to review the material on the leatherback?
No copy didn't come here, but it sounds exciting, so let's keep chasing it. And I'll work with the gentleman that provided it and bring some stuff back to you. But no, it definitely sounds intriguing. So
Right. Yeah, if y'all could review that and just check it out. Maybe at next meeting have a follow up on that or something like that. It's that's quite interesting. Mr. Reynolds has requested PSAs for increased fines for littering. I think that's something all of us can easily get behind on that.
yeah, we can take care of that tomorrow.
Yeah, if we could start pushing that out on a couple different media pages, both police and city, and even looping in 97.3 and all.
Okay.
And so, Commissioner Sherman, you were out there the next day. The comment about was there not enough garbage cans, or do we just need some additional? I guess it's trying to figure out, was there any additional to begin with, or was there some and it just wasn't enough for targeted areas?
Actually, we've started our review of the 4th of July activities, and so staff, one of the comments was not only putting out, as Mr. Reynolds indicated, additional cans at each beach walkover, but perhaps on those really high days, actually looking at having additional collection sweeps, perhaps early afternoon, late evening, so that they don't overflow the way that pretty much every single walkover overflowed. So yes, we'll put out more cans, and I've been working with Mr. Rodriguez to say, okay, can we get a driver and a thrower to do a noon police call, to do a 4 o'clock police call, just to minimize that overflow effort. So we're working on that already.
And then the last request was about additional stations. I think that just has to be an agenda item, and correct?
I think, unless you have objections to it, I mean, Mr. Reynolds has already put out a couple of stations. I don't think it needs to rise. Unless you have any objections, I'll just have Mr. Reynolds send me a specific memo or email specifically identifying the locations and tell him to go for it. I mean, I don't think we need to wait another 2 weeks for that consensus.
How would the body want to proceed? Y'all okay with it now? Without,
Yes,
okay.
forward with it.
Mr. Reynolds, just a follow-up question, if you could, if you can come up to the mic. Those, so during hurricane season, what happens with those collection sites where the cans are? Like
The aluminum cans?
no, the buckets.
Well, we can go collect the buckets, but those stations are not gonna move.
Okay, so they're pretty solid, they're not going anywhere?
Yeah, those stations aren't going anywhere, yeah.
Okay, that was the only concern.
And we probably, I'm glad you mentioned that, we'll make a point to collect, because we lose enough buckets just with people deciding they want to take them, you know. When they find out there's holes in the bottom of them, I don't think they're very good for them. But yeah, they do take them, so they're not good for bait, but no, we'll get them, yep.
Okay, thank you for answering that. All right, so we're okay on that. Commissioner Carney, good information on the town hall. And that's also something that we could probably help by getting a PSA out on as well. That should probably happen sooner than later with that, because that's right around the corner. And it sounds like there's some very important information in there too.
I'll reach out to Commissioner Carney and get a little more information that we can include into a PSA, so I'll reach out to her tomorrow.
Right, yeah, because the county pushing it out, I don't think the audience is going to be quite right. You know, pushing it out through our means might be a lot better. Commissioner Spradley?
Yeah, and Commissioner Carney, as you mentioned, I was there at the workshop for the county when the beach renourishment topic came up last month. And there are some serious challenges, you know, to getting this thing done. And as she mentioned, as of that date, there were 17 holdouts. And you remember we spent 6 months with one holdout delaying our project. Well, they got 17 holdouts presently to give easements. And then the budget is a serious item because once the bids came in order to make the budget, they had to reduce the cost from the low bid, and it's going to result in, I think, 14% less sand coming in. So, you know, so those are just some of the lowlights of that. So yeah, I welcome the opportunity for a workshop and for us to educate the community because there are some challenges ahead, and I think working collaboratively will definitely help.
Commissioner Santori?
Yes, Ms. Carney mentioned a joint workshop, and I'm wondering if we would like to do a full joint workshop where if we had to make a voting decision, we could do it, whether with the county or with the county and Palm Coast.
Well, it wouldn't be able to happen in a workshop per se. It would have to come back and be a noticed item as an agenda item. But when you have the workshop, you can pretty much, you know, everybody can be on the same page, minus formalities. So you can at least get that. But I think we're overdue for a county workshop. Timing couldn't be better.
The regularly August scheduled one was canceled due to lack of agenda items. Didn't that just come from Adam?
The July one.
July?
It was scheduled for July 22nd, but that was canceled. But if we want to look at, because I think Mr. Mengel, on behalf of the county, was reaching out, or Ms. Dance was reaching out. But if we want to, that was the full-blown joint. But if we want to look at perhaps that date as just a specific city-county workshop, I can, again, talk with Mr. Mengel or Commissioner Carney if you have interest in that. Otherwise, you know, the following week, you know, we're starting to get into budget workshops. I'm sure the county's engaged with their budget stuff as well. So sooner is probably better than later if we want to look at your calendars. That was the date originally scheduled for the big quarterly meeting, but that was canceled. If we
For
want
the multi-municipality meeting?
correct.
But Flagler Beach, didn't we have a bunch of new topics that came up that we were going to bring that? Do you remember talking?
I'm not sure if it was lack of agenda items or lack of participation, but yeah, at the request, the county sent out emails to Palm Coast, Bunnell, and us, and basically the other two responded first saying, yeah, there's no reason to meet.
Because I know we had additional things. I'll have to go back through my notes, because in our meetings, we had new things come up we needed to discuss in that. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to request a day, get it on the books.
Okay.
Especially if our rep is asking for one.
I'll reach out to Mr. Mingo and, again, Commissioner Carney and see if that date still works for them for at least a workshop between you and the Board of County Commissioners.
Right. If the multi-municipality meeting, you know, if those folks don't want it to happen, we can still meet with the county. You all okay with that?
Yeah, what's the date?
July 22nd, it's a Wednesday. The day before the next scheduled City Commission meeting.
And I'm assuming that would be a daytime meeting? Or,
Traditionally, it's been, the multi-meeting has been an evening meeting.
that would be ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do an evening meeting. I couldn't do it during the day, that day.
Okay, so we can request a
Yeah,
evening.
I'll work with Mr. Mengel and find out the availability of the County Board of Commissioners to match your availability, and we'll work on getting it scheduled.
All right. Any other feedback for public comment? All right, we'll move on to consent agenda, which is regular meeting minutes, June 25th, 2026. Does everybody have a copy and any questions? All right. And this one does not require public comment, so I will move for a vote. All in favor of approving meeting minutes and consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We didn't even, I just stopped myself.
I'll make a motion, we approve the regular meeting minutes of June 25th, 2026.
Second.
All right. Now, if everybody in favor could please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimous. See that, the motion passed unanimous. All right, general business. We need to appoint a finance committee member. Penny, is this you? Or should we just start seeing who's here? All right, we can go through this in order. Let me get this tally sheet. All right, so let's go through this in order. Amanda Liverano. Did I get the name right? Is Amanda here? Okay, so we do have bios on these folks. All right, so Andrea Schweizer, if you can come on up and just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you are wanting to be on this board, please.
So my name's Andrea Schweizer. I live at 1329 North Daytona Avenue. I've lived in Flagler Beach for about 13 years. I do have a master's in accounting, and I currently work for SMA Healthcare, which is a nonprofit agency that serves Volusia, Flagler, Putnam, St. Johns counties, as well as Marion. I'm very familiar with grant funding and the restrictions behind it, and how funds have to be. You get money for certain projects, and it can't be spent in other areas. We have to work with that as well. I'm working on the board for the COC in St. John's, and I'm not great at public speaking. Both my kids I raised here. They're local Flagler Beach children. Me and my husband have been. I've been in Flagler County since I was 4. So I'm a longtime Flagler resident and a longtime Flagler Beach resident as well.
Any questions for Andrea? All right, thank you.
Yep.
Wasn't too bad.
No, I'm just not good at it. I can feel my heartbeat.
All right. And Boyd, if you can come on up, tell us a little bit about yourself.
First time at a meeting. I'm Boyd Venable. I live at 812 South Central Avenue. I was an attorney. I'm retired now. I practiced in private practice for 18 years, and I worked for the FDIC as an attorney for 23 years. So I was in the legal field for 40 years, doing banking, also regulatory work, and everything in between. A lot of my practice involved real estate, of course, when I practiced in Tennessee. But I'm retired now.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Venable? All right. Thank you. All right. You all know the drill. Each of these members, you rank 1 through 3, 1 being the highest score, and then you just pass your paper down to Penny. And just for the applicants, it'll take a minute for everybody to fill out the sheet, get it tallied. Penny's going to get it all added up and everything. And then here in a little bit, further in the meeting, then I'll announce, the person who got the best score. All right, so you got that part done. All right, let's try let me find my agenda here. It just got buried in my papers. All right, we'll move on to Resolution 2026-52. City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor,
Chair. Resolution number 2026-52, read by title only, a resolution by the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, to engage United Data Technologies for managed information technology services, providing for conflicts and an effective date.
All right, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an effort by the city as we break away from our current relationship with county providing IT services for us. So Mr. Daniel Impson, the city's IT director, is here today to answer any questions. But in summary, the city had been paying approximately $180,000 a year for county IT support. The most recent request from the county was in excess of $300,000. So in staff's assessment, we believe that we can provide services at a lesser cost or at maintaining the same current cost. And so as a result of that, Mr. Impson solicited proposals for managed IT services to support the city's effort. So again, he's here this evening if you have any questions.
Just as a general question before we jump to everybody, would this be considered superior service to what we were getting from county, comparable, or is this going to be a little bit less? I mean, is there differences in service levels?
You'll get an increased service level. They also cover a little bit of the cybersecurity side. We would also project savings on licenses of around $24,000.
All right. Questions or comments? Mr. Spradley.
Actually, that was the first one I had, was what is the scope of services? Is it similar to what we have to this point? It sounds like it's at least that.
It's an increase.
The other is, I mean, I accept that you rated these companies and the applicant that we're being asked to approve had the highest score.
Yes.
I had a lot of trouble trying to read that score sheet. I couldn't make heads or tails out of it.
Yes.
But it is the case that this particular applicant you feel was the superior
Yes,
applicant.
sir. Any questions you have on the score sheet, I can go over with you.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Santori.
Yes, Mr. Impson. So I know we're going to be supplementing this with an additional staff member to be budgeted. So I'm curious what that amount will be, because I believe at this point it will save us around $124,000 doing this option, and just curious what that additional staff member will be the real savings at the end of that. Thank you.
I'm not sure what the total cost of hiring is, but their salary range will be 70 to 80.
So when we say that we have a cost savings, we're doing this plus, see, this program saves over county, correct? But then we're hiring somebody, so then that would be a cost increase. Correct, City Manager?
We are breaking away entirely from the county. So
Right.
we will provide our own services, and this was raised back when I first started 3 years ago, that there was a concern that at some point in time, the city had to prepare itself for eventually venturing off on its own. And with the proposed increase from the county, we felt this was the appropriate time. That's why we first hired an IT director 2 years ago. Mr. Impson is now filling that role, and he's worked admirably with the county, and we'll just move forward with this transition should you approve this.
All right. Commissioner, go ahead, Chairman.
So I just had a quick question. As far as the level of service goes, after hour service, so I was reading through this in a little bit, and I saw there is 24-hour service. Currently, are we not getting that with the county? Like, how does that work for you guys now, vice, outsourcing it here to a third party?
So the county has a 24-hour helpline that the officers or the fire department can call. It would be just whoever's on call at the county, though. This provides a full team of 24-hour support.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Yeah, the subsequent years for the fiscal impact, is all of these other items, 805 per user annually and all the other stuff annually, is that on top of the 174,000 or all included?
That's a breakdown of the cost.
Okay.
Total up to the 174.
Gotcha. Good.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on this item? City Manager? All right. Commissioner Santori?
I believe since you asked, so I still think the net savings will be around 36,000, if that's correct. Okay.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-52.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up to public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item?
Commission Chair, Tony Roy, 1836 South Central Avenue. I wasn't actually going to talk to this earlier, but I decided to just put my 2 cents in on it. For Managed Information Technology Services, just my background, back in the 90s and early 2000s, I worked for what was then the largest internet provider in the world. And half the world's internet traffic went through my backbones. I was responsible for the entire western United States. So I can tell you, just looking at this and having taken a peek online, $179,000 is a fantastic price. That's less than half of what my salary was back in the 90s. So I say go for it.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Kim Carney, Flagler Beach, not representing the county. I just got back from, on our side, it's called the Florida Association of Counties. The number one threat to any municipality in this state right now is cybersecurity. We have actually asked for our entire conference to focus on cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, there's not enough technology to keep up with the cyber threats. So having your own internal, one of the ways to prevent that is to have one of your own internal IT. The number one way that the hackers get in is through a third-party vendor. So you want to make sure that your third-party vendor is well vetted and that they are working very closely with your IT department, because it is, you can't keep up with it. They have shut down multiple counties in Flagler, in Florida, because of cybersecurity. So good job, keep it working, but you're going to be focusing on cybersecurity for the rest of your life. So it's one of those things.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? I see no one close public comment. Further comments? All right, Penny, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Santori,
Yes to motion?
Commissioner Spradley,
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Sherman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Chair Cooley,
Yes to the motion. Motion passes unanimous. Move on to resolution 2026-45. City Attorney.
Yes, Chair. Resolution 2026-45, read by title only, a resolution by the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, accepting the recommendation of award for the additional water main river crossing Upland Lambert Avenue portion, awarding the construction contract to Four Seas Trucking and Excavation, Inc., in the amount of $1,421,903.90, representing the base bid and additive alternative, providing for funding, implementation, and an effective date.
And before we jump into this item, if you could excuse me, I should have got this before we read it. I have the results back for the Finance Committee position that was available. And the winning person on that is Mr. Venable. And so congratulations, Mr. Venable, to the highest paying job you'll ever have. And appreciate your volunteering for service. And for the other folks that threw their name in the hat, and anybody else that is interested in getting involved in these positions are always coming open, and we very, very much need the help. So even though we only have one position available right now, there will be more coming in the future, and we do need help with them. So we greatly appreciate the interest in this position. And congratulations, Mr. Venable. All right, sorry about that. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Lambert Avenue water main extension has been one of the city's top legislative priorities for the past couple of years. As a reminder, we only have one water main, transmission main that crosses the intercoastal, so should that service be disrupted, the island would be with limited water supply. We did ask the state legislature for 2 years running, indicating that this was a critical improvement. It was not funded by the state, and so since we had classified it as a critical improvement, it was decided that we should move forward with it since it was a critical improvement. So this is the first leg. This will take the water main up basically from Route 100 north, I believe, to approximately 10th Street on the west side, on Lambert side. And you will see we are starting to work forward on the design for the actual crossing of the river itself. So that project will be moving forward as well. But we did put this out for bids. Mr. Freeman is here, and I believe Mr. King is here as well from Mead and Hunt to talk about the project if you have any questions. But again, this is in the capital plan and been a high priority for the city for the past 3 years.
All right, does Mead and Hunt have anything prepared they want to present, or just to answer questions?
I don't believe there's any presentation, just questions.
Okay. All right, comments or questions? I'll start on this side of the room. Commissioner Cunningham.
Yeah, I'm all for looping the system. We can't just have one water main serving the island. Could go down. The alternate bid for doing the swales and the ditches and culverts and all that, is there plans for that somewhere? Because I haven't seen them. I saw the plans for the water main itself, but not what it was at home.
Yes, we do have plans for everything, including the drainage. It should be all-inclusive on the plans with the water main extension. So there wasn't like a separate set, it was all-inclusive.
Are you looking at the board portal or the public portal? Our infrastructure is exempt from public records, so it should only be on the board portal.
If it's somewhere, I'll find it. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off of Commissioner Cunningham's point there. So we'd be looking at how much additional time if we were to add the bid additive to this. Was it because I know we're going to be out there mobilized, and I know there was a mention in there about the inconvenience to the residents and things. So just wanted to get some timeline. So for the general public as well, when we begin this process, how much additional time this would add to that.
So we don't actually have a schedule from the contractor at this point, not until we actually provide a contract to them. However, the work will occur at the same time. So while they're doing the water line installation, it's going to run along the western side of Lambert Avenue. So that's also the same side that's getting the drainage work. So it basically run at the same time. So it shouldn't really add that much time. Just because there's going to be some additional grading, it might take an additional 30 days at the most, that I would imagine.
And doing this in conjunction with, is there any cost savings with this versus not doing it in conjunction with the?
Absolutely. I mean, you save, if there was going to be 2 mobilizations because you had to split the project, then you'd pay mobilization fees twice. So doing it all at once definitely saves.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Spradley.
Nothing further from me.
Mr. Santori.
Nothing.
Mayor.
I had one more thing.
Mr. Cunningham.
Who is Mead and Hunt? I know they're going to be the CEI out there for the project. Are they going to be also keeping up with the NPDES and the SWIP, all the environmental? There'll be a lot of spoils laying around. We have these monsoons, you're going to have mud everywhere.
Yes, that would be part of their CEI portion of the project.
Okay. Are they going to be ones getting, doing the NOI, DEP and all, and creating a SWIP for the project?
They are developing all that, so that is correct. They are the ones who are going to be developing the SWIP and getting the NOI.
Okay.
All right, further questions or comments? General. Look for motion.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-45.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up to public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item?
Good evening, Chair and Commission. I'm Chelsea Herbert, and I'm the owner of Four Seas Trucking and Excavation. We're located in Bunnell, and we've been serving this community for the last 20 years. So just wanted to come tonight and ask that you approve this, and we look forward to working with you. We've worked with Mead and Hunt and the city of Flagler Beach in the past, so wanted you to be able to put a face to the name and introduce myself, and we're happy to work with you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Excuse me, Paul McKitka, 351 Palm Circle. I just wanted to give props to the engineering team. There are a whole bunch of bids on this. I don't know if it was 10 or 12 or something, but that's awesome. You don't see that all the time in city infrastructure projects, so just wanted to give them kudos. Thanks.
Anyone else for public comment? All right, seeing no one close public comment. Further discussion? All right, Benny, if you call the roll, please.
Spradley,
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Sherman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Santori,
Yes to motion.
Chair Cooley.
Yes, the motion. Motion passes unanimous. Move on to resolution 2026-46. City Attorney.
Yes, Chair, Resolution 2026-46, read by title only. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, authorizing a task order with Mead and Hunt, Inc. for construction, engineering, and inspection CEI services for the additional water main river crossing Upland Lambert Avenue portion, providing project budget amount of $95,724, providing for funding, implementation, and an effective date.
All right, City Manager.
This builds upon the project that you just approved. Again, Mr. King is here this afternoon or this evening if you have any questions, but this is to do the construction, engineering, and inspection for the Lambert Avenue Upland portion project.
All right, questions or discussion on this item? None? Mr. Cunningham?
Just to verify that y'all are gonna be taking care of all the SWIP and NOI and getting the CGP and all that.
Good evening.
Monitoring the BMPs, all the stuff that goes along with it.
Yes, David King with Mead and Hunt. Yes, we have performance requirements for the contractor. We have the baseline for them to follow, but as operator of the site, they submit the NOI, we verify it, and then between them performing all the soil and erosion control and us doing the monitoring. Yes.
They're doing their own inspections for the SWIP, or
They're required to do the paperwork and, keep the data collected, and we verify that it's being done, yes.
the weekly inspections and 24 hours after a rain event
Correct.
of a half inch, which is almost every afternoon.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Any other questions for? No? All right, look for motion.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-46.
Second the motion?
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up to public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item? All right, seeing no one, close public comment. Further discussion? No? Penny, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Sherman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Santori,
Yes to motion?
Commissioner Spradley,
Yes to the motion.
Chair Cooley.
Yes, the motion. Motion passes unanimous. Move on to resolution 2026-47. City Attorney.
Resolution 2026-47, read by title only. Resolution by the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, authorizing change order of work for fire hydrant repairs at Lambert Avenue at Sunset Cove to be performed with U.S. Water Services Corporation, approving a project budget amount of $10,217.89, providing for funding, implementation, and an effective date.
All right, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is part of the contract, or it's an addition to the contract that the city currently has with U.S. Water for maintenance repairs for the city's fire hydrants. Staff has identified 2 fire hydrants that are in need of additional work due to antiquated infrastructure or unavailable infrastructure. Those are located at 300 Lambert Avenue and the corner of Sunset Cove and South Central Avenue. So staff recommends approval of this change order in the amount of $10,217.89.
All right, questions for City Manager or general discussion?
I have a question.
Commissioner.
Do we have a schedule for O&M for all the valves in the city, exercising them, greasing them, opening them up, and closing them so they don't get stuck?
So that's something we're working on right now. We've completed an assessment of all of our infrastructure, and we now have all that located on diamond maps. And so now our next step is we're working with Florida Rural Water Association. We're going to create some work orders and create those schedules in diamond maps.
Mr. Chair, one of the projects that we've been working on with the fire department, is that, delineating the responsibilities between replacement and maintenance, and perhaps, as you were referring to, exercising each hydrant, taking the caps off, exercising them, lubricating them. That's going to be the responsibility of the fire department. But the actual
Underground valves?
Nope. They'll just be dealing with the above surface portion of the fire hydrant.
Hydrant itself.
Yep. Subsurface, the valves and things like that will be the responsibility of Public Works.
But there's no schedule as of right now, right?
Not as of right now.
There's been, I know, this is, and Commissioner Sherman, you probably remember this, this has been, yeah, it's been disorganized for a while. It's been going on for years because it got pushed to roads and streets, and then fire had it for a while, and it just keeps getting bounced back and forth. I think there was a schedule at some time, but who knows where it went. I know it wasn't followed. And then what would happen is, out of nowhere, we would have all of a sudden a huge bunch of fire hydrants get bagged out of nowhere, and it kind of caught everybody off guard. So a working schedule and putting this to rest on who's going to have it and how it's going to be maintained would be nice. It would be refreshing.
Some of those discussions started way back under former Fire Chief Pace, and then that's where it's kind of been admittedly disjointed since then with Chief Pace, Chief Cox, and now as we move toward the new chief. But yeah, the delineation is that the fire department will take care of the above ground components of the fire hydrants, whether it's testing them, painting them, taking the caps off and ensuring that they're properly lubricated, and then Public Works will be responsible for the subsurface components of the fire hydrants.
And all departments feel comfortable with staffing to handle this?
I believe at least the Public Works does, and we'll work on that with the fire department as we restore that staff.
All right. Questions or discussion? No. Mr. Cunningham, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, in that case, I'll look for motion.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-47.
Second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Open this up to public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item? All right, seeing no, we'll close public comment. Further discussion up here? All right, Benny, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Commissioner Santori,
Yes to motion?
Commissioner Spradley,
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Sherman,
Yes.
Chair Cooley,
Yes, the motion. Motion passes unanimous. Resolution 2026-53, City Attorney.
Yes, Chair. Resolution 2026-53, read by title only. A resolution by the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, approving staff engagement of MGT for professional human resources consulting services to review and revise the city's personnel policy, providing for conflicts and an effective date.
All right, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This effort is at the direction of the City Commission that's asked staff to go out and get a full third-party review of the city's personnel policy. So Ms. Mathis, who I believe is here this evening, she's here. She solicited the applications or the submissions. I believe we received 5. She did review the applications with both Mr. Smith and Mr. Mandel, who the city engages as labor attorney, and the recommendation is to move forward with MGT.
All right, questions or discussion? Mr. Cunningham.
I didn't see a cost for the other companies that were referenced. Only the one that they selected. Unless I'm missing it.
I'll have Ms. Mathis offer that information, Commissioner Cunningham.
Oh, I think Ms. Mathis is coming up.
Okay, I can review costs. There was not they were in the submittals, but
I don't have a list for you. I can go over the cost if you'd like.
Well, I just wanted it as a comparison to what was selected.
Okay. Well, I can provide Synergized HR. Came in with a cost of $24,500. TWC Global Solutions came in with a cost of $33,900. Ironwood Business Consulting came in at $17,750. And Gray Robinson came in with, they charge by the hour. Their standard cost was between $300 and $665 an hour, with an anticipated cost of $15,000, but that didn't include travel, materials, travel, training. So there was additional costs there, and if it went over that, there was a discounted hourly cost. And then MGT Impact Solutions came in at $18,000.
We're doing a complete rewrite of the personnel policy. Is that
We're reviewing the whole entire policy.
the only thing I would say is take the general guidance out. Policy is a policy. I don't like the general guideline.
Yeah, and just for procedural pieces, this is driven by ordinance, is it not? Or is it just a resolution? Like, this is going to come before us as what?
A final product will be prepared by the consultant for you to consider, review, revise. You know, the consultant may recommend A, and you guys may say, no, we want B, or things like. So yeah, this is going to come back. This will eventually come back to you for formal consideration and approval as the city's personnel policy.
Right, and I'm assuming that might even have to span multiple meetings. It's going to be rather large, I would assume, right?
Should be.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of discussion on this, but, okay. I just wanted, everybody and also the public to be aware of how the flow is going to be. All right? Further discussion?
I'll make a motion we approve Resolution 2026-53.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up to public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment. Further discussion? I thought we'd have more discussion on this one. That's when it's coming, though, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Then if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Santori?
Yes to motion.
Commissioner Spradley?
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Sherman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Yes.
Chair Cooley?
Yes, the motion. Motion passes unanimous. Item G, we have consideration and conduit license agreement between City of Flagler Beach and Metro Fiber Net. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Eddie Massengale from MetroNet FiberNet LLC is here this evening. Mr. Massengale approached the city approximately 9 months to a year ago asking for access to, or figure out how they can access the beachside portion of the city to provide alternative telecommunication services to city residents. The city had installed, as indicated in the staff report, back in 2022, 2023, as part of the American Rescue Plan Act funds, fiber optic connections between city facilities that actually included the installation or construction of a conduit under the river. And there's actually 3 conduits. The city is using 1. So Mr. Massengale inquired about the use of MetroNet using one of the 2 remaining. I reached out to Mr. Michael Tamara, who assisted the city in the negotiations with DC Blocks, and he recommended a specific rate. I presented that rate to Mr. Massengale, and Metro FiberNet has accepted that rate. They've also made some preliminary considerations, although it'll come back before you about the cameras that we talked about, is providing a connection to those cameras once we determine where those camera locations will be. The city will still likely have to provide the monthly service costs, but by them providing that connection, that will provide a substantial savings to the city, and will also have the cameras hardwired instead of relying on a wireless connection. So, staff recommends that you approve this. Its initial term is $5,000 per year with a 5% escalator clause each year. And there's standard termination agreements. I'd have to go back and look to see what the specific term of the agreement is. But Mr. Massengale is here to offer any comments regarding MetroNet's introduction to the city.
Mr. Massengale, do you have anything you would like to share with us before we begin?
I don't have a prepared presentation, but I'm here prepared to answer any questions if you have questions.
All right. Well, you are up there. Any questions for Mr. Massengale? All right. Got off easy tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Discussion or questions for City Manager. Commissioner Santori.
Yeah, I know my first meeting that I had with Mr. Spradley here at Coffee with the Commissioner. I think my very first question to you is when we to get some competition on the island for internet service providers. So I'm very excited about this item. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion?
The 5% escalator, is that going off of the 5,000 annually to increase?
Correct.
5%?
Correct.
Or where does it top out?
Whenever the contract ends, there's no.
And I like the idea of being able to use it for the cameras. For sure.
Yeah, under Article 3, the initial license fee is $5,000. The initial term of the agreement is 10 years, and it may be renewed for 2 additional 5-year terms. And so the $5,000 with the 5% escalator automatically increase every single year.
$5,000 is a really good deal for a directional drill of a 2-inch conduit under the river. It'd be $75,000 or $80,000, including permitting and all that. We would never have a need for, I know we're using one of them, we would never have a need for any of the other two, or the last one, if they use the second one.
I'm not sure what need, we don't have a need for it right now. But yeah, that would be consideration if anybody has to use the third one, whether there would be a future need for the city to use that. So the fiber connection that runs through that conduit now connects the wastewater treatment plant, the police, the fire station, City Hall, and I believe the pier.
Does City Hall have fiber?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say we
super slow. We
connected all the buildings before, right?
Who?
Service provider. There's fiber, but the provider to the fiber.
Fiber's fast, the provider's not. Yep. I remember when we wired this building with the building department all around. Yeah. City Manager, so this conduit, if in the future other conduits get taken up, is there room, like if we let them use this conduit, there's still room in there for city use if needed, correct?
I'm not the technician on that, but I know that there's, as Commissioner Cunningham referred to, there's still one conduit that's completely unutilized. The city has one. We'll allow MetroNet to use the second one. I'm not sure how many conduits or how many lines you can run through the size of the conduit that we have.
Right. Okay. Further discussion?
Make a motion to approve conduit license agreement between the City of Flagler Beach and Metro FiberNet, LLC.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item? Mr. McKitka.
Paul McKitka, 351 Palm Circle. I also welcome additional options on the island for internet service, so that's great. No direct disrespect to the gentleman here from MetroNet, but MetroNet across the country does have a very poor reputation regarding installation of service throughout neighborhoods. They tend to just plow through the rights of way without doing a lot of due diligence on existing facilities and then fixing the damage later if they cause it.
This is well known across multiple municipalities across the country. So I don't know if things are done differently here or not. But that is one piece of caution I'd like to throw out there. They're kind of the number one offender in utilities. This is well known across the civil engineering industry. So I don't know if there's any way we could write into an agreement if they use our conduit that they could, we make sure they do more due diligence when they actually do implement their network through our neighborhoods or not. But just be careful. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment on this agenda item? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment. Mr. Massingale, did I say your name right? Okay. Did you want to respond to that?
It's one thing I want to say. I mean, we're nationwide, but on as far as restoration, there's always confusion between people don't understand right of way and easements, things like that. We restore as we go. Now, the problem becomes hardscape because we're dependent on contractors there. But we restore softscape within 24 to 48 hours if possible. But everything, we built Palm Coast, and you can reach out to anyone at Palm Coast. I mean, it is construction, and it is underground construction. So his points are valid. I mean, there's always a lot of damage in construction, and we are the largest, and so I guess we have we get a lot of that pushback. But yeah, we're very much aware.
All right, thank you. Sure. City Manager.
I'll kind of defer to Mr. Freeman, but I think there were one or two instances where Metronet did impact the city's water mains off of the island, and to Metronet's credit, they were invoiced by the city for the repairs, and they immediately made payment on those invoices. So to their credit, when the damage happened, they didn't hesitate. They said, send a bill. We analyzed or we prepared the cost of that, and they paid without hesitation.
And a lot of the damage comes from a lot of cities, don't really, even though, you're required to locate your facilities, a lot of times you don't know where they are. Now, we're taking an extra step here, and something that's extremely expensive on our part is we're going to actually use ground penetrating radar to locate those utilities. Now, when we're done with the build, you'll have what we call as-built, so you'll at least know where your utilities are. But that's where the damage comes from. It's not necessarily, just digging in the ground. It's when you hit something. And, nobody wants to intentionally hit anything. But a lot of times it's either, it's a mismark. We think we're told it's here and it's over there. But, for example, we hit the water main. It was actually a mismark. It wasn't our fault, but we still gladly paid for it because we did the damage.
Okay, thank you. So, City Manager or City Attorney, this question will be directed to you guys. What can be done from a city and an agreement perspective between you and the vendors, or the city and the vendors, to just protect the citizens from any potential issues that there might be? I specifically remember MetroNet being a topic of discussion in Palm Coast City meetings when that was going on more than once, and there's got to be some layers of security that the city can do to just make sure we don't fall into any of those potential pitfalls.
Well, let me say something that hasn't been mentioned, but certainly the representative would be well aware of it. Florida is a one-call law state, which means that if they call the one-call number to locate the utilities before they do any directional boring, which is where these problems typically occur because it's underground, and then the locate folks, the people who have utilities in the area, have to come out and do the paint marks, which you've probably seen. Blue means one thing, yellow means a different thing, orange means a different thing. And it's supposed to communicate to the directional boring company what they're doing, where they're doing it, and what they're supposed to avoid. And they have to stay outside the margins of those marks by a certain statutory amount to avoid actual liability. Now, liability can take a lot of significant forms. One of the things that happens quite frequently, and one of the things that he's correct about, is just having them located doesn't mean the locates will be correct. That is accurate. But what it does mean is if they hit something that has not been properly located after the call was made, they would have no legal liability. That's the purpose of the one call law. So to provide for additional liability on that, obviously contractors and governments can agree to whatever they wish to agree to and the terms that they will accept. So you could bake in, for example, additional indemnification for hitting unmarked utilities that weren't properly located. They may push back because, again, that's the whole purpose of the one call law. So that directional borers, I've represented one for almost my entire 40-plus legal career, Denali Construction, and I saw them mentioned in this proposal. I don't know whether they're involved in being the actual boring subcontractor, but that's how come I know about this law. But yes, they could agree to additional protections if you wanted to put that in the contract. Whether they will is a negotiation matter. I do not know.
All right, City Manager.
The city, again, you've been here long enough, you know that there are times that we've had trouble with mismarked or unmarked. I know that the city now has our own ground penetrating radar that we utilize for our locates as well, so I think we are doing a better job in locating our underground utilities, and as Mr. Massengale said, they do ground penetrating radar as well. So I think we move forward, and if it becomes an issue, we can raise that issue appropriately with MetroNet, Mr. Massengale. So I think we monitor as we go, and if we're doing that, then we can see how it moves forward.
Okay. Mr. Massengale.
One other thing I wanted to add, I mean, you have to realize our sales process starts the minute we put a shovel in the ground. So it's to our advantage to restore the property back like it was, or better. Now also, it's to our advantage if there's a hit. You know, a lot of times we just use common sense. For example, we hit the water on the other side. Now, we could have pushed back and said it was because it was mismarked, but it was to our advantage to work with the city to just repair it and move on. And we're prepared to do that going forward here as well.
All right, thank you. All right, further discussion? Commissioner Santori.
Yes, I know there's been some concern about the cost we're charging them to bring the line over, but I don't think it was mentioned yet that the significant investment that they're going to be putting in to put all the cable in and to provide the service to the city. But I do have a question for you, Mr. Massengale, if you don't mind. Are you planning on giving every resident here access to fiber, or is it a certain amount? Thank you.
No, that's correct. Our initial build, we don't have the design complete yet. Our initial build, when we run fiber past a location, whether it be a house, home, or a business, we call that a pass. Then I think you've probably got somewhere around 3,000 homes here on the island. Our initial build, we're around right at 1,800 that we can identify. Again, we haven't designed it. Our objective is to build to everywhere, but we have to do it, and we don't actually stop. For example, we started in Palm Coast, and we're just still coming. We got held up because we couldn't get across the intercoastal. And we've worked with the city manager, which has been a pleasure to access and to utilize this conduit. But we don't actually stop. So we want to build. We want to build to everyone that wants our service.
All right. Further discussion, Commissioner Cunningham.
The two lines across the river that were hit, it was from directional drilling, the line, and I know the locates were off. But anytime a locate's done, they don't give you a depth. Never. They never will give you a depth. So they bring the vac truck out and suck the soil up, expose it, find out where it is, if you're going to be going under it or over it. But you gotta expose it to see where it is. Especially big lines. I think those were 8-inch.
We do. We pothole to verify whether if it's marked. We do that at whatever 25, 50 feet. That we'll do. In other words, we'll pothole here. This is Craig Hager, by the way. He's our director of outside plant construction. Will be responsible for this build. So I always bring him along because I normally get questions that sometimes I have to yield to him for. But yeah, we do. We dig down to verify that's where they are, and then we'll go another 25 feet. We'll dig again, but sometimes it doesn't always run straight. It may not run straight. So when we put the drill head in here and we're going that way, if it's across or over, in other words, And sometimes, I mean, you know, we find it here and it's just not where we thought it was supposed to be. But nobody, always remember, we don't ever want to hit anything intentionally, never. But when it happens, and it does happen, I mean, it happened in Palm Coast, it happened here, again, as we have already discussed, yeah.
It does happen.
But it is a significant investment on our part. And, you know, there's a private investment, you know, to bring the service to your residents.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, Commissioner Cunningham?
Can you speed the internet up at City Hall?
It would definitely be another provider, that's for sure. All right, so we already had public comment on this, correct? We have a motion?
Yes, in a second.
All right, further discussion? Any, if you call the roll. All right, well, we don't even have to call the roll on this. Might as well. We're already there.
Yes, I may.
Yes. A while ago, yep.
Yes to the motion.
Yes.
Yes. Yes to motion?
Yes, the motion. Motion passes unanimous. Resolution 2026-55, City Attorney.
Resolution 2026-55, read by title only, a resolution by the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, authorizing city staff to pursue State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, grant funding for reclaimed water system improvements totaling $43,166,645 to be implemented in 6 phases with a 50-50 cost share, providing for funding, implementation, and an effective date.
All right, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I'll have Mr. Freeman come forward. This is part of the city's infrastructure compliance with Senate Bill 64, which requires all municipalities to eliminate surface water discharges, including the cities, which we discharge our effluent or treated sewage water to the intercoastal, the river. So we need to upgrade our facilities. And the colored chart that you have to support this is part of the storm water, the master plan that was prepared a few years ago. So this is moving forward and seeking grant funding, 50% match, broken down into 6 different phases. It's strictly the grant application at this point.
All right, Mr. Freeman, is there anything you wanted to cover with us before we get into the discussion?
Well, I do want to just go over the requirements of Senate Bill 64 and just make sure that you're aware this is an unfunded mandate by the state. We have to comply by 2032, and we did have a master reuse plan put together by CPH, and what they did is laid out all the infrastructure and gave us cost estimates, and so what we're trying to do is break that up every year until we reach 2032, and that's how we've kind of arranged our capital 5-year capital plan with, as well as the grant application. So we just need the board's agreement to move forward with this and actually apply for grants.
This 43 million, is this what CPH came up with?
Yes, they put for their all the infrastructure. They gave us a list of all the estimated costs, and that's roughly what it was. But what we did is, since that was from 2024, we put some inflation to it just to make sure we cover it. So we did inflate those by 20% just to make sure we're covered.
Got it. All right, discussion or questions for the city engineer? Anything on this side?
Yeah, I do.
Commissioner Cunningham.
I'm all for grants. I like the 100% one's the best, though. This is still going to be over 20 million for the city. And we may not even get it. I'm looking in the first year, I guess it's going to be in the next fiscal year, running the reuse lines down John Anderson and Roberts Road. That line's going to be sitting there for several years at least, till the wastewater plant's complete. and we're able to provide reused water in those lines. My question is there anybody looking for grants for stormwater and our sewer mains has got all the I&I? I know I preach I&I every meeting. It's, people's homes flood. It's coming up on 10 years since Hurricane Matthew. But people's homes have flooded. I mean, what are we doing?
So we are constantly looking for grants, and we have several already that we've been working on for a couple of years, actually. One of them, there's a resiliency grant that we're working for South Flagler, where there's going to construct a berm and basically harden all those areas that are along South Flagler. We're still working on a grant that's part of the wastewater treatment plant. There's still some grant funding for that. So for the equalization basin and the master lift station. So that's still a grant that we're working on, and we're constantly going after anything we can. There's one that we're working on right now for the area of South Daytona from the 2700 block, that area, as well as John Bull. We're working on a grant for that. I'm looking at a grant right now for, we've applied for grants for doing some of the stormwater in areas of Venice Park, Palm Circle, Custer's Palm Harbor area. So we're constantly looking at grants, going after them. We don't always win.
So when we don't get the grant, what happens then? We just sit on it, keep sitting on it?
Well, we would be responsible for the cost of that. However, we are constantly going after grants. It's not just state grants. We'll look for federal grants as well. We don't just go after one grant and just hope that we get it. We keep going after grants, and that's why this one's broken up into several years. So what we'll do, if you agree to let us move forward, seeking a grant, it's not just one grant. There's going to be multiple grants that we'll go after each year, trying to fund these things. So if one doesn't come through, we get another one.
Even looking at the RO, just for the design, $135,000. That's going to be in next year's budget, I assume.
And that's
we wouldn't even need it if we got rid of our I&I. There should be some focus on that.
Right.
Do we have any grant money left from the first grant that was in 22 or 24? One was $4.5 million, one was $2.5 million.
So that's part of that grant funding is also going to be going towards some of the work at the wastewater treatment plant.
Instead of going towards the I&I?
Well, we also look for grants for I&I issues. So I've reached out.
I need the grant money that's still left that we haven't used.
So the grant money has to be used for what we applied for. So it was a wastewater treatment plant.
There was a grant for slip line and the sewer mains and laterals. Is all that complete? I'll answer it for you. No, it's not. So what are we doing going forward? Nothing?
That grant was something that occurred before my arrival here, and from my understanding, that project's been closed out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the grant had anything to do with the laterals. I think it was strictly related to the mains, because we weren't going on into any private property for the laterals. I think we were only slip lining the mains.
No, it was laterals too.
Okay. I can review that grant, because that was started before I got here, so that was probably 3 or 4 years ago. But I can find out what the project scope of that was, and what, if any, money is remaining on that.
I guess my main point is frustrating that we do get a grant for something and it doesn't finish.
That's what I indicated. I would review what the status of that was.
Okay. Sewer main and stormwater conveyance that's a high priority. I mean, people's homes flood every time.
I guess I would question, in the almost 3 years I've been here, I'm not aware of any home that's flooded. We're never going to be hurricane proof. 47% of the parcels in the city limits on the island are in the flood zone.
I'm aware of all that.
So when a hurricane hits, there will be flooded homes. We will never be able to avoid that. But like I said, in the storms that have occurred since I've been here, I'm not aware of a single home that's flooded since 2023. Streets have flooded, swales have flooded, absolutely. But I'm not aware of a single home that's flooded.
I guess what I'm saying is there's a way to keep the streets from flooding and the homes almost from flooding by getting the water to convey like it's supposed to. I don't see anything happening.
The streets and the swales are actually part of our flood control system. Streets will flood. We will never keep the streets. The water table is high, tidal events, storm surges. The main key is let's keep the houses from flooding. Streets will flood as well. Can we improve it? Of course. But there will be flooding that will occur, and as long as we are doing our due diligence, we can prevent, to the best of our ability, homes from flooding.
That's all I got.
Okay. Other questions or feedback on this? Question I have is, this is permission to apply for grants, so I don't want to get too deep in it, but just about the whole general tactic. On here is getting reuse to the golf course, which is very, very expensive because it's furthest away. But I guess as a general comment, what I would really like to see is Summertown and Veranda Bay leveraged, because there's a pretty good chance we might not ever need to go down all the way to the golf course, which is the most expensive option there is. And we have a builder that, said over and over and over, we want your reuse. We are building it in. We plan on taking it. If you look at Veranda Bay, they have all the water storage, in place. If you drive Veranda Bay, it's laid out for it. When I look at the plan here, I don't really see the intent of leveraging Summertown and Veranda Bay. It's okay to have backups and say, all right, if we need to spread reuse everywhere all throughout the city, if we have to, we can, and we can spend that money, but rather than plan on doing it, let's plan on putting the majority of the weight onto Summertown, because a lot of this won't be needed if it's successful.
And I think that's what's actually part of the John Anderson and the Roberts Road of getting to Veranda Bay and getting to KB Homes to the north. So I think that is part of the plan.
Right.
I've started some preliminary discussions with the city of Bunnell about, because what Bunnell does with their reuse, they provide it to the golf course, the major golf course out in Bunnell, and they say they can't get enough reuse. They need more of it. So is there an opportunity to actually run a line along State Route 100 and turn it into a whole county-wide project with the city, Palm Coast, and the city of Bunnell, and when all of us work together to get rid of our reuse? So we've started some of those discussions. It's still pie in the sky, for lack of a better term, but we started those discussions because we're all going to have to get rid of this stuff somehow. And we've reached out to the state, can we put it into the marshes and the swamps to recharge those wetlands? And the answer is no, because the ones in our immediate proximity drain to the intercoastal, which is why we're supposed to get out of this in the first place. This is a very expensive, as Mr. Freeman said, unfunded state mandate. We've been putting our treated water into the intercoastal for decades. And the state, for whatever reason, has decided that is no longer good enough.
Right, and since we're looking at doing that countywide project for Bunnell, the leveraging Eco Center as well, because there's going to be a lot of man-made features in there that do not affect that whole Bulow area. They're going to be completely separate.
That's part of the preliminary discussion. Is there a way that we as a county can work together and leverage intergovernmental cooperation?
Right. And I get this is just going out for that, but it would be really good for us to plan ahead and go after all those cost-saving measures now, so we're not having to run reuse all over the city to very expensive areas down to the golf course. It'd be great to run it to the golf course, but it's cost prohibitive. But
I think that's why that's out in the budget. I mean,
it's years out.
Hopefully we will not reach that point. That's grant number 5 on the list. I think we just start with the
Right.
top priority and then we move forward from there.
That's correct. All right. Further discussion? Mr. Bradley? No? Mr. Sherman? Nope.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-55.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up for public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item?
I live on Oak Street. In the 54 years I've lived here,
Mr. Marzak, can you just restate your name and address?
Kevin Marzak, 105 Oak Street. In the 54 years I lived here, I have never seen the river overtake those streets. The only person that I was able to make contact with historical information to that reference was Mrs. Wilder, who lives on Palm Drive. And the last time that occurred was when Dora came, I believe it was in 1964. Now, as an environmental ranger, I could tell you, you can't fight Mother Nature. You either got to make a structure that is super reinforced, or you need to get out of the way of it. Now, my house flooded with 22 inches of water in 17, 8 inches in 22. And we had a near miss by my garage 4 feet away from the intercoastal water that backed up in 24. Now, given the theory of climate warming, the increased rainfall, and the fact that the intercoastal has not been dredged since the early 50s, and I mean a redredge. In all the years I've lived here, all the boat traffic has eroded at least 12 feet of bank on both sides. We're talking inward and downward. As we all know from what we've learned from the Egyptians, water seeks its own level. My conclusion is, like at Custer Park, the ground is near level to the intercoastal. You need to have a natural river there to at least fight the encroaching waters of the river into the neighborhood using native sand and foliage, say 3 foot high. Once the water gets beyond 3 feet, people ought to be packing to leave. So we'll reach a common consensus. The only other thing is to raise the houses that are currently below the standard that was requested by the county and the state at this time. That is an expensive undertaking. I know when they looked at my house, it was $188,000 to lift it up 4 feet. That's quite an expense. Now, how the state has dealt with it is plant mitigation, sand renourishment, and you can fight it year after year after year after year, but Mother Nature never sleeps. 24/7, she has won her property back. And so, with that, let me suggest powerful mitigation pump stations at the end of the streets that are in peril to deliver the water to a proposed dry lake scenario where access water could be dumped. And I know the state is going to close off that affluent line because that comes right at the end of my street. And with the bacteria growth the way it is, it's not prohibitive to continue that practice.
Mr. Marzek, you're going to have to wrap up. You're past
Sure.
3 minutes. All right.
I'm done. That's all. Just for your information.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Further discussion. All right, Penny, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Sherman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Yes.
Commissioner Santori?
Yes to motion?
Commissioner Spradley?
Yes, the motion.
Chair Cooley?
Yes, the motion. Motion passes unanimous. We'll go on to public hearings. We have special exception application. And does this doesn't need read, does it? For tattoo parlor, we don't have to read this in. Okay. All right, city manager.
I will pass this off to Ms. McLennan as the planner to offer the review for the special exception application for Shoreside Tattoo LLC.
All right, city planner.
Thank you. The applicant is Hallie Brooks. She represents Shoreside Tattoo. The property owners signed their authorization form. The property is located at 213 South 2nd Street, unit number 9. The future land use is commercial. The zoning is general commercial, and it's in the CRA boundary within the downtown mixed-use district. So the intent of the applicant is to operate a tattoo studio allowed by special exception in the general commercial zoning district, section 2040208. The design guidelines establish 3 districts. This one is in the downtown mixed-use district. And special exceptions are allowed as described in Schedule 1 of the Land Development Code, and they're permitted only upon authorization of the City Commission after review by the Planning Board. In recommending approval or denial of the use, it's on findings and recommendations whether the requirements of Section 20601, 1 through 7 are actually met, and other comments that the City Commission thinks will assist in determining to be able to grant the use. So the findings required for approval are found in Section 20601. The use is permitted as a special use as set forth in Schedule 1. The use is identified as a permitted special use in the City of Flagler Beach Land Development Code, Schedule 1 item. That's a typo. It should be item number 11. Number 10 is a church. So it's a typo there. And the number 2, the use is so designed, located, and proposed to be operated that the public health, safety, welfare is protected. The use is so designed, located, and proposed to be operated that the health, safety, welfare, and convenience will be protected. The use is regulated by the state. It does not compromise the protection of public health, safety, or welfare, nor the convenience for the City of Flagler Beach. Number 3, the use will not cause substantial injury to the value of other property. The finding is the use does not cause injury to the value of other property in the neighborhood. Number 4, the use is compatible with adjoining development and proposed character of the district. The finding is that the use is compatible with adjoining development as surrounding properties are within general commercial and the downtown mixed-use district. Number 5, adequate landscaping and screening is provided as required. Finding the proposed establishment is to be located within an existing building built in 2006, so there's no additional land development requirements there. Number 6, adequate off-street parking and loading is provided, and ingress and egress is designed to cause minimum interference. The finding is the property is within the central business district boundary where no additional parking requirements are required for existing buildings. Number 7, the use conforms with all applicable regulations governing the district where located. The finding is the use conforms with applicable regulations governing the district. And Staff recommends City Commission approve the special exception for a tattoo establishment in general commercial zoning district in accordance with section 20601, as the use is compliant with the city's comprehensive plan and meets applicable regulations governing general commercial zoning district. Thank you.
All right. And we're also going to hear from the applicant, but any questions for the city planner before we move on to the applicant? All right, applicant, would you like to come up and tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Hey, good evening, board members. My name is Hallie Brooks. I'm the owner of Shoreside Tattoo. I did prepare a little statement because I am nervous. I've been a professional tattoo artist for 10 years, and 2 years ago I opened Shoreside in Palm Coast. Since opening, our shop has quickly grown and built a strong reputation throughout Palm Coast and Flagler for professionalism, cleanliness, and respectful customer service. Many of our Google reviews reflect this, and I have included those in your packets. Our clients include local residents, professionals, military members, law enforcement officers, and small business owners, and many returning customers. Shoreside is a small appointment-based studio currently operating with 2 artists right now. This proposed Flagler Beach location would allow us to expand to 4 artists total while continuing to maintain a calm professional environment. We are not a late night or high traffic business. We operate primarily by appointment and have had no issues involving noise, disturbance, or nuisance activity. Our current shop is also located in a very similar business setting, and we work closely with neighboring businesses to maintain a positive relationship with other tenants. We strictly follow all state and health requirements and take cleanliness and professionalism very seriously. This location would allow us to continue growing responsibly while bringing additional clientele and business activity to Flagler Beach. We currently serve clients from the region, including Ocala, Orlando, New Smyrna, Jacksonville, and surrounding areas. My goal is to continue building a clean, welcoming, and respectful studio that fits well within the Flagler Beach business community. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight and respectfully ask for your approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the applicant? Mayor?
I just wanted to say thank you. The package was wonderful, very complete, very thorough. It meant a lot. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Do any of you have any other questions? Sorry.
Just dying to get down? Woo! That must be a sign. I think we'll let you get down in there. All right, discussion. Commissioner Santori.
I just have a couple questions probably for the city attorney here. So if we approve this, are there any, with the special exception, does this run with the parcel or with the unit? And does our code provide any expiration if the use is discontinued?
It runs with the parcel so long as the parcel is continuing the same kind of business. In other words, you can't have a special exception for a tattoo studio and then the next act comes in and not that this would be needed, but it's going to run an ice cream shop. And say, well, I'm good. No.
And then they wouldn't be able to go back to a tattoo
They'd have
studio
to go
unless
back
they come
and
back
start
with
over.
the exceptional approval.
Okay. And then so the applicant mentioned that there was going to be a certain hours of operations and no outdoor activity. So can that be added into the stipulation?
As a condition of approval?
Yes.
It's always best to discuss it with the applicant, but if one of the criterion that you have is the health, safety, and welfare, and according to the staff report prepared through the planning and zoning, whoever looked at this, they felt that this complying with the state requirements were sufficient. But it's also, I think, requirement number 4 that says compatibility with the surrounding area. I don't know how late the surrounding businesses are open, but something consistent with that would make sense.
So what do you have as a suggestion, Commissioner?
I mean, based on what he said, I guess the surrounding businesses would include Shabuzi, correct? Which they're open fairly late, so I wouldn't want to put a stricter restriction on that for a tattoo parlor. So I guess I'm good with this as it is.
That strip has the charcuterie place, right? They're open. Yeah, very late. Okay. And outdoor activities, did you have any thoughts on that since you brought that up?
No, I was envisioning if, just say the business was discontinued and someone else came in there, would they be permitted to do a different kind of outdoor activity that maybe we wouldn't approve? But
Right, because it's tied to that business function.
Even if it was a use that was also permitted by special exception, they'd have to prove that that use, which is permitted by special exception, meets your 7 conditions.
okay, thank you. I'm good then.
Okay, Mayor?
I have a general question, and that why is a tattoo parlor a special exception? Is this something that we have in our charter from a long, long ago, or help me understand why it's considered different? Different from other businesses. Does this stem
I mean, you'll remember, this goes back to when we reviewed this and the commission was deciding what was going to fall under special exception or not at all. And there was, on this particular item, there's a little bit of like a knockdown, drag-out style thing between myself and our old city planner and at the time, the chair of the PAR board as well. Some of it is, antiquated thinking surrounding, tattoos, but the other piece was there's also nothing inherently wrong with having it come before commission for approval. So it's just a level of safeguarding. That was my give because I'm covered in tattoos, so I wasn't okay with that. Yeah, and I thought it was very old school, but there was a valid argument of, look, we're not saying no, we're not saying it can't be in this particular zoning area. We're not pushing it into highway commercial only or anything like that. We just wanted to come before commission. And that was the layer that was kind of something that we all could agree on. And it's an additional step for the applicant, but there are areas that, you never know. Depending on what they're wanting to build, commission could potentially have pushback on it. But it got a little heated back when we were talking about that because I called it, I had a term I called it. It was something like they were trying to zone it out or something. But we ended up agreeing on, look, just have it come before commission as just a level of safeguard for the community.
Thank you. I just felt it was singling out a business that we really have no reason to single out. And it's tightly controlled by the state and the health department. So thank you for the explanation. I'm not sure I'm in total agreement with it, but thank you.
That was the compromise. You remember that, Penny? Got a little, because I was very adamantly opposed to it being that way, just because I spent a lot of time in these places and I know that they are not a detriment to the community. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's also something that can also change the next time it's reviewed as well. But, the flip side of that coin, which was the argument that they presented, was there's nothing wrong with having a business come to the commission and say, this is what we plan on bringing to your city, and this is how we plan on doing it. And so I was okay with that part. Commissioner Spradley, do you have anything?
Yes, motion to approve special exception application PSP 26-0002.
I like it. All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up to public comment. Any members of the public?
Second. I did.
Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item?
Charlie Moore, Flagler Beach. The deal also was about pot dispensaries. It wasn't just tattoo parlors. Because I was here at that meeting. Because that's going to come up sooner or later. So it was applied to tattoo parlors, but it was also about pot dispensaries. That's what it was all about.
Anyone else for public comment on this agenda item? All right, seeing no one will close public comment. Further discussion? All right, Penny, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Yes.
Commissioner Santori.
Yes to motion.
Commissioner Spradley.
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Sherman.
Yes.
Chair Cooley.
Yes to the motion. Motion passes unanimous. Congratulations. See, talking wasn't that bad. All right, we'll move on to ordinance 2026-14. City Attorney.
Ordinance 2026-14, read by title only, an ordinance of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, submitting to the electors of Flagler Beach a proposed amendment to the Charter of the City of Flagler Beach, providing ballot title, summary, and text for the proposed amendment, providing directions to the city clerk, providing for severability, providing for an effective date for approved amendments, providing for an effective date for the ordinance.
And City Manager, is this City Clerk?
Actually, yeah, you can go ahead and take it, Ms. Overstreet. This is actually at your guys' direction, so we're bringing forward the language that you talked about during the process of selling the golf course. Commissioner Santori championed it to bring it forward as soon as possible, so Ms. Overstreet's been working with Mr. Smith to bring the first reading before you.
Yeah, I forgot I drafted this before I went on vacation. Drew did draft the ordinance. I did the staff report. And so with it coming on first reading here, I've already advertised the second reading to keep it in line with the second meeting in July. That way we can have it to the supervisor's office before the August 7th deadline, which is her deadline to get on that November general election ballot.
All right, discussion. Commissioner Santori.
I mean, this, City Attorney could probably better explain this, but this is the phrase I've heard before. This is, what is it, the belt and suspenders comparison, and it's just, further ensures that, it makes it more difficult to change the use of that land. So thank you.
It 100% will do that. You may come to regret it later, but that's what this does.
All right. No discussion, left for motion.
Motion to approve ordinance 2026-14.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open this up to public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak on this agenda item? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Further discussion. Anyone worried about regretting this for the city attorney?
Not at all.
All right.
Glad RJ stepped up and made sure this got on our agenda so it can be on the ballot. It's a good job. Thank you.
All right, Penny, if you call roll, please.
Commissioner Santori,
Yes to motion?
Commissioner Spradley,
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Sherman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes.
Chair Cooley.
Yes, the motion. Motion passes unanimous. We'll go to staff report. City attorney.
Can I assume that you all know everything about the upcoming referendum on property taxes and don't need me to give you the 411 on that? Okay. As long as you understand what's coming and that it's not going to be good if it passes, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion on that throughout the summer. All right, city manager.
Thank you, Chairman. First, I'd like to thank all the city crews for their preparatory efforts for the 4th of July. Staff discussions for future holiday celebrations have been initiated. Thank you also to the Flagler Beach Rotary Club for organizing the annual parade and the members of the Parks Committee for their post-parade efforts in Veterans Park. I received word earlier this week that our federal funding request initiated by Congressman Fine was cut out by committee in Congress. So that was a request for $6 million, which actually combined the city's request for the reverse osmosis as well as the berm project along South Flagler. But the good news is the state funding for the $1.5 million that was our leading legislative priority did survive the governor's veto. So we are in line to receive the $1.5 million for the reverse osmosis. So special thank you to both Senator Leak and Representative Greco for their efforts in getting that forward. We are continuing our Third Thursday efforts, thanks to Commissioner Santori. The ones for next Thursday features the city clerk, the police department, and the water department. So that's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Wickline Center. So we appreciate your support for that effort. I do have additional tickets if anybody is interested in going to the Daytona Tortugas game It's Flagler County Night, and that is July 17th. And I believe the mayor is scheduled to throw out the first pitch that night. So she said she's been practicing. Congratulations also to Finance Director Holly Howard. She had her baby on Sunday morning at like 3:30 in the morning. So both her and the baby are doing well. She gets out of helping with the budget this year. The scheduled meetings, we have the CRA Advisory Board scheduled for Monday. The Parking Management Evaluation Team is slated to discuss the submissions. There were 8 submissions from parking consultants. The members of the evaluation team currently are Mr. Tim Davis from the Parks and Rec Committee, Mr. Paul McKitka from the PAR Board, Deputy Chief Schoenbrod, and local attorney Mr. Dennis Baer. So they will score and rank the submissions. That is all they are doing. They are not talking about implementation, operations, enforcement, or anything like that. We have a long way to go before you consider that. But the tentative plan is that the evaluation team will rank the submissions next week. And then in August, tentatively scheduled for August 11th, the top 2 or 3, however the rankings break down, will come before you at a special workshop to make their presentation about their business. If you still want to move forward at that point, we will put it on the September 10th agenda for you to select one of those firms to begin more formal discussions about implementation, operations, and enforcement. That will likely take 4 to 6 months to get through. So there's plenty of time, plenty of off-ramps before we get to that point. And you will be repeatedly asked, okay, do you want to go forward to the next step? Do you want to go forward to the next step? So that evaluation team meets next week. We talked about the joint cities meeting, but we will look at rescheduling that strictly between us and the county. Projects, the dune survey effort that you supported for continuing to move forward, the beach walk project. The survey efforts are supposed to start next Monday in preparation of building the dune to support the renewed or reconfigured A-frame and the promenade. And next Thursday, you will receive the proposed budget for the following fiscal year. So, pending that, if you have any questions.
Any questions for City Manager? All right. City Clerk. City Planner.
Thank you. Our new GIS technician started this week. His name is Justin Ames, and you're welcome to come by and meet him at any time. We're excited to get him on board. We got our first license, business analyst online. That's going to be an exciting app to be able to have to see where our leakage might be. And the city is hosting the last Monday of July 27th, I believe it is, the quarterly planners meeting. It bounces around the county, and this will be our turn to host it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Police or fire?
Let me go ahead and introduce Mr. Nate Courier. He is graciously accepted. He is currently the Deputy Chief in Ormond Beach through an agreement with the City of Ormond Beach. He is serving as the interim fire chief while we go through the selection process to appoint a full-time chief. So thank you very much to Chief Courier and the City of Ormond Beach.
Thank you for helping out. I'm facing this way. Commissioner Cunningham, switch it up. We'll start with you. Is that okay, Mayor?
That was welcome.
Okay.
Few things. Is the city responsible for the beach walkovers?
Most of them. There are some private ones, but
Well, not the private ones.
yeah. Otherwise, yes, we are responsible.
How are they monitored? Are they inspected and?
Yeah, they're inspected daily by the facilities crews. Monday through Friday, correct.
Oh, every day they're
Yes, sir.
inspected? All the public ones?
Correct.
Well, the furthest south one, right at the county line, city line, there's a 2-foot drop off. And people aren't using it because there's a 2-foot drop and they're walking up the side, trampling over the sea oats, which are protected. It needs to be extended out further. I don't know who built it, but there's a 2-foot drop off, the last step. A lot of people can't climb that high.
Generally, the sand washout, we don't replace the sand. If they need to put a sign on it to close it for safety, can let Eric know about that. But they usually check for loose boards, nails sticking up that someone can trip on, big splinters, of course, if something's failing. But usually sand washout, it comes and goes, and we don't replace sand.
No, I mean extend the walkover out further.
If
So I'm saying, because there's a lot of them. That's the only one that's like that.
Okay. The tread, I haven't been down there to see it, but if it's something they can extend out, usually they will. Maybe they didn't have the materials, maybe the supervisor asked them to report to him first. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we can definitely mention it to him.
If somebody falls, is that a liability on the city?
And some of that construction may require, if it's new construction, may require DEP review and approval for the walkover.
Tread, if the runner is there, if the stair runner is there, they can add new tread to put on it, they can do that. But any driving of piles, anything like that, that's not gonna happen without DEP.
Right.
Especially now in Trojan. Nothing.
Also, as an additional request, can we have building department pull the specs on that to see if it was actually built down to as far as it should have been built to? Because
This was an FDEP or FDOT replacement after the secant wall was put in on that end. So I do have the plans for it, and I can share that with Eric or whoever else up here wants it.
there was just a lot of concern on some of the walkovers that they were being built to spec when they were going in. I remember Commissioner Bellhumor was pretty vocal on that. And so if we can just sanity check it, that's really the main thing. I don't know if that's one of the ones that they were concerned about, but it wouldn't hurt to just check, make sure it goes down as far as it's supposed to. And then I guess we're going to need to close it until a repair can be made, is what it sounds like, right?
We'll take a closer look at it.
What else you got, Commissioner Cunningham?
I only found out about this because my wife told me about it. I don't have Facebook, she does. The South 25th lift station that was on temporary bypass for 1.5 years. We spent $500,000 on it or something. It was down again. Why was it down? We just rebuilt it.
Yeah, part of the control panel failed. It's been replaced.
Electrical?
Correct.
There was new
Or
pump,
contact
line,
switch.
everything.
The control, as part of that rehab, the control panel was not replaced.
Okay. That's all I got. Oh, and I'm a grandpa again as of about 5 hours ago.
Oh.
Yeah, she was late.
Congrats. All right, Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, I just wanted to, again, I should have probably spoken up when Daryl was here, but that group out there, if anybody can get out there for the next beach cleanup, it's really fantastic what they're doing. I mean, he saw a problem and has really, I think, taken it and ran with it. I mean, you see it out in front of your business, and he tries to be a part of the solution. So whatever support, I know we do a good job as a city, but like if we can get out there and put a little sweat equity in there, it'd probably go a long way for him. I thought it was a great cleanup, a lot of garbage. I actually want to call out a business, Johnny D's. I came over the bridge in the morning. It was about 7:30, 7:45 on the 5th, and their parking lot was hit pretty hard, and people were having a good time. But let me tell you, the minute I turned that corner ready to go out there and, grab all their garbage, they already had somebody out there cleaning their parking lot. So, kudos to Johnny D's. I mean, that, it looked pretty rough. There was Patron bottles out there, cups, everything. And by the time I made my way around that corner, after probably picking up about 3 cartons of cigarette butts, we they were already out there cleaning up their parking lot. So I just wanted to, give them a shout out for, being part of the solution, not part of the problem, and just letting it just sit there and compound the garbage. And, kudos to the sanitation crew as well. They were out there first thing in the morning, so, getting those garbage cans, so if there's any wind blowing, and, trying to keep the garbage in check. And, no sooner we were already filling those things back up. So, greatly appreciate the lifeguards for coming out and actually helping out with that as well. It was mentioned earlier tonight about the dredging of the Intercoastal Waterway. I've mentioned this a couple of times, and I actually had a constituent he's reached out to me for, as long as I've been on this board, and I've been trying to help him out with this matter. And, I did actually reach out to Commissioner Carney. I had pulled up my email when you mentioned that earlier this evening, and I shot her an email on the 31st of May, and I believe she tried to send me an email back, but I don't know what happened. But I'm going to go to her event and maybe try to follow up with her in person as well to see, because I think something like this is going to take pretty significant lift at the national level, and probably so we got to start with Big Brother at the county and the state. But I know again our Volusia's got some sort of program that they're already they continue their dredging. Theirs out for probably the boat traffic, and I know probably that is a big part of it. But I'm not a marine engineer, but you never know. Maybe a little bit of dredging might help too, and maybe address some of the issues that we have in our estuaries in that area as well. But I'll continue to try to look into that, and thank you again for bringing that up this evening, Mr. Chair. That's all I got.
All right, Commissioner Spradley.
Piggyback on what was said earlier tonight, the city staff did a phenomenal job for all things related to the 4th of July. Beginning with the events leading up to First Friday on July 3rd, and then on July 4th, including the parade and then the events afterwards at the park. Everything was just so well done, and all the comments I've gotten from the residents and the guests who've attended those events that just made comments about how clean everything was, how organized everything was. So I think the staff just did a great job. So, Dale, your staff is on fire, as it were, for that. I attended as city rep a court hearing the other day, I guess yesterday, on a whistleblower suit, motion to dismiss hearing by the city. And I'll just say, as a lawyer, it's my view the city is very capably represented by our employment lawyer who handled that hearing. In the case, the complaint was dismissed. The judge was very receptive to the arguments that were made. The complaint was dismissed, and she gave, as commonly happens, gave leave for them to file an amended complaint to try to fix the problems in it. But what I got out of it was that I think the city is very capably represented in that case. That's all I've got today. Thanks.
Mr. Santori.
I would also like to thank staff just for the amount of information that was in this packet, and I know it's a lot of pages, but we went through, I think, 11 plus agenda items rather quickly tonight, and I think a big part of that for me is at least having the information in front of me, that way I can review it and quickly come up with a stance that I have before I get here. So thank you to all the staff that contributed to that, and look forward to the next one.
Mayor.
Echoing everybody else, thank you to city staff and everybody who made the 250th birthday of America and our 4th of July celebration one to remember. Our city, can't recall it looking as good as it does right now. So thank you. The furniture, the shade structures, everything. It's a beautiful touch. City manager and I attended the legislative update this morning, and I'd like to thank Palm Coast Chamber for hosting it. Senator Tom Leek and Representative Sam Greco were there. I won't say it was necessarily eye-opening, other than they appear to work very well together. And in light of what they termed the chaos in Tallahassee this year, they did manage to accomplish a lot. They pushed through. We survived the veto from the governor on our $1.5 million. And they'll continue doing what we need them to, and they're very approachable, and should we need anything, they're receptive to speak with us. That's all I've got.
All right. And just because we're doing thanks, a pile on. No, it was really nice seeing the lifeguards out. That doesn't happen every year, I don't believe, but they made a big impact this year. It was around the 5th to 7th South walkovers. You know, that area always gets hit pretty hard with party goers and everything, and they went through and they got that all cleaned up. And they even got to my business's lot at almost the same exact time staff went out there. And so staff's going out to clean the lot, and lifeguards are out in the lot cleaning it and helping out. So we treated all the lifeguards to Slurpees too. I don't know how that impacts their life-saving abilities, but you know, they enjoyed it. It was hot, and that was really nice, and just all the support. We had a lot of. I think everybody was doing everything they should have done on the 4th. You know, our police chief was very active. He was out visible. All our folks were out and visible.
Yeah, the numbers that were provided to me by Mr. Gillen were there were 450-ish preventative actions. There were 7 rescues, 7 medical responses, and 1 lost child, but there were no fatalities whatsoever over that weekend.
I assume a found child.
Yes, the child was
Yes,
found.
hopefully a found child.
The parents were found.
Right. And also, you know, in addition to Daryl Reynolds' crew, you know, Carla Klein was out there doing the trash bags. Mayor Johnson was out there doing the trash bags. I mean, just everybody was out there doing, you know, everything they can for the city. And, you know, on one hand, it's a shame that we as a city have to do that big of an effort to keep our city nice, but, you know, the other side is we are doing it, and we are keeping the city that nice because of those folks out there leading the charge. And so just a big thanks to everybody. That's all I got. And so with that, we'll open up to last round of public comments. Anybody have any public comments they would like to share? Oh, Commissioner Cunningham.
Commissioner Spradley jogged my memory when he was mentioning the court case. Has it been scheduled for the second half of the personnel hearing?
I believe a tentative date is July 22nd, but I'll confirm that with all of you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we'll open up last round of public comment. Any members of the public wish to speak? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. With that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we're adjourned.